Whenever you reach out to someone, the first question you need to ask yourself is like, what's in it for them?
Yes.
If you can't answer that, redo your cold email. And people, what do they love? They are motivated by health, wealth, or status.
The problem that I want to solve, that's never been a problem until the last 5 years, is how do I stand out? Because the volume of messaging is much higher than it ever is before. Nowadays, people can send out 5,000 emails a day. So that's a new problem to market that I've seen be one of the most crippling or paralyzing problems. Is how do we stand out of the fold of like, okay, this is the pattern. How do we interrupt outside of that so we can just get them to read it? And then it's going to come down to relevance.
Studies have already shown that there are 3 ways to, you call it pattern interrupt, I call it generate intrigue, but they are surprise, knowledge, or mystery. So just understanding that if you can operate from one of those 3 buckets, you're 90% of the way there. This is about creativity. How can you look at what's in front of you and come up with a creative way, leveraging knowledge in one case, for instance, or leveraging surprise in another case, or leveraging mystery, right? How do you use one of those and come up with something that breaks the pattern?
I think that the rules that I'm thinking about is brevity is going to be a pattern interrupt, that you're using emotional words, that you're using words that most people wouldn't, and that you're staying out of the sales pattern. So it can't be like, your daughter's in the hospital. And then you open and you're like, there's my daughter's, you know, and it's talking about something about like healthcare or something. So there's a lot of different examples of emails that I've seen recently of like localized area codes as an example of recall, but reply when it's not a reply, you know, or something that really grabs someone's attention, you know, but then when they get into the email, they're like, this.
Yeah, if it's deceptive, it's never going to work out. You can't start your relationship by cheating on the person that
Ripping the rug.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you can.
You can, technically, but
it's just not a good idea.
It's not the best idea.
If you stay outside of the pattern, but you think about emotional words, words that you don't see most people use, period, within a sales context, and to your point, to the mystery angle, something that I've done that increased conversion rates was an ellipses at the end.
That's mystery.
Right. That you're like, just tune in. But I always keep in mind in the back of my mind that whatever it is, it has to tie into the content of the body from a realistic view. Otherwise, they're going to feel like you duped me. And it's going to be the hill that you're going to have to climb to get a response at that point is so much higher.
I do feel the most successful campaign I've seen are the one when sales and marketing are working together, meaning that instead of trying to sell, instead of trying to like push your product, pitch, or kind of link it, you're just focusing on the relationships. Because in the end, your salespeople, they're supposed to be the experts on the topic. A sales rep is a consultant. They should know about
100.
the topic in particular.
On the topic, not the product, is what you're saying.
Product is just the solution. So they should understand the solution, but they should also understand the problem itself. If people are focusing on the sales, they're not going to focus on the problem.
They're not helping.
Exactly. But if you focus on the problem, you're focusing on the relationship.
And then you're helping.
Exactly. If you start like reaching out to people by telling them, you know what, like either like we're doing an article about XYZ, I know you're facing some challenges, would love to connect with you. And just like the sales rep can actually do the job for the marketing. Like you record all your calls. And if you look at the intro call, like the qualification call, it's exactly the same type of call you would do as a marketer to get insight on an industry. So the sales rep can do that. He records his calls, and at that time, you know if the person is qualified or not. You put that person in your article, which means that you add either like leadership or insights from industry leaders. And at the same time, you build like a report. And if the person has like specifically said that one of their points, for example, was XYZ, and you have the solution to
content.
Z, you can say, by the way, like your name will be published in the article that we're writing, and thanks a lot for everything you said. The Z problem we've got, I've got 10 people that have already helped on it. It's off topic, but if you want, I'll pass you to one of our AE and you can discuss with them, etc. If that makes sense. If not, no matter what, like thanks for your time. I learned personally tons of things and I love how you solved XYZ. And as a sales rep, you become much smarter because you understand the industry better. You can give all the recordings to your marketing that can then produce real fucking content. So for me, it's really about like pattern interrupt works really well when you focus on the relationship. The cold email campaigns that we've personally run, where it's never about what we sell, but more about talking about the problem and exchanging, networking, this type of things.
Are you looking raw booked meetings or percentage? Which one of the two are you looking at the most?
So it would be, for example, out of 100 people that I reach out to, I would get like 35 meetings booked and show up. Like because I'm not trying to sell.
Yeah.
In the end, because whenever you reach out to someone, the first question you need to ask yourself is like, what's in it for them?
Yes.
What's in it for them?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
If you can't answer that, redo your cold email. If there is not like a tangible like thing that is in it for them, then it's off. And people, what do they love? They are motivated by technically like 3 things. If you look at the triangle, it's like health. Okay, am I getting like a healthy lifestyle? Wealth. So like more money, or status. And status works well.
So know them.
So status is like, if I reach out to you and say, okay, I'm writing an article with like thought leaders and then name 1, name 2, name 3, or even from company 1, company 2, company 3 to add a bit social proof. I'd love to have you on. Of course, you're going to say yes. So it's like 15 minutes of your time, tons of value, and you'll be like seen with others, you know?
We have an email scorecard template, and one of the 3 of the lines are, what are you offering?
Yeah.
What's the ask? What are you asking for? And then what we call the OV, the overall value. You score it 1 to 10, but what I do when I see that a lot of people score an 8 and a 9, I say, great, what's the ask? And they go, well, I'm asking for 15 minutes. Okay, great. What's the offer? Well, I told them I'd talk about my product. So you're telling me that you're offering them information about your product for 15 minutes of your time? Right? Like, see, that's interesting how
thank you, man.
Yeah.
Fucking legend.
Right? And I hope this makes I hope this doesn't hit the cutting room floor, because anybody watching this, did anybody sense, as I described it that way, the entire energy of this level of this room went like that? It's like I get 2 experts here, and when I put it like that, it clicked. And literally the 2 of you like, yeah, why would I do that? Now think about how salespeople write emails. They never for a second evaluate the offer to ask ratio, which again, as I told you, the very first call is about a sale. Everything is a sale.
Have you run the value only campaigns? Where I've run campaigns where it's just like, hey, here's an article that you should read on X, Y, and Z. No need to respond. I go third party every single time, tease out a piece of value. And those are my highest booked meetings. Where no need to respond, here's a piece of value.
To be honest, like we do that in our follow-up, and we try to add like these pieces of value, like to follow up, to build up like a bit of like trust. But my feeling with it is that because it's a cold email, if they don't know about you, it's difficult for someone that doesn't know you to kind of like, I'm going to spend time reading. And because you say you're doing third party, but when I read your email, the first thing I see is like someone that I don't know pushing me an article that I don't know about. I guess like for you, it can work because you are like on LinkedIn and people know Becc.
Be careful. It wasn't me doing this. It was my reps doing this.
Okay.
It wasn't me.
But it can work.
Even though I am cool.
But
it wasn't me.
I want to give you the head nod.
Sorry, around the bathroom for it wasn't
me. But it can work if your brand is strong also.
Yeah.
So if it's like, if people recognize either your name or the company brand, the source of trust is already there.
Yeah.